Hey, David T.S. here, and welcome to My Extra Mile, the network marketing edition. This is a special 6-week series. We're on week number 3. Again, if you're not in network marketing, this is still so many great lessons to learn in here because everyone I know is looking to create a side hustle where they can have sort of a home-based business that they can grow globally and expand their income, expand their mindset, expand their hearts, and expand their impact. So this week, this is about onboarding clients, how to get people started, how to get people paid. This is such an important skill set about getting people paid, and being able to present to people as well is such an important set of skills. And we have a couple of rock stars. Again, every week we bring multiple 6- and 7-figure income earners to help you. And remember, if you're not in Isagenix, we will talk about Isagenix. It's the company that I truly believe is one of the greats on the planet. But if you're not part of that, but you're a network marketer, welcome. You can still learn from these leaders because this is our profession and we want to hold and link arms together, right? It's a noble profession. The highest paid, the kindest, the most wonderful people I know are professional network marketers. So enjoy our show today about onboarding new clients with Trudy Maples and Juli Urevick. And I just really excited about what we're going to do. But I want to start with a little bit of fun. And so I have my handy dandy stopwatch right here. And so I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to start with you, Juli. And the question, I ask the same question every week. I'm going to ask you the question. You have 90 seconds. Get as close as you can to the 90 seconds. You don't have to speak fast. But why network marketing? Ready? Go.
Oh, wow. That's such a loaded question. Okay. So I am a mom of 4 sons who were super busy, super active. And when I was first introduced to network marketing, I had no clue what it was. And I didn't have any idea of the power behind it. But I quickly learned that running from one ball field to the next, taking the kids in the carpool line, picking them up at school, taking them homework that they forgot, I could do that and build a 6-figure income from my phone. When I realized the power of that, it just really excited me. So I kind of jumped in, full on, and I started sharing that with other moms at the time who also were college educated, but they chose to be home with their kids, but they wanted more. And I really think that that's something that's missing now is that, you can have this great education, but you choose to be home with your kids, but you still feel like you want to contribute, right, to your family financially, and you want to be a part of something bigger than yourself and do something else other than change diapers and run kids to the ball field. So it's just the perfect fit, I think, for a lot of people. And I love the residual income. So that's it.
Look at that. Look. 118 there. Very, very good. Under the 90 seconds. Great. No pressure on you, Trudy. No pressure on you, but I'm going to ask you the same question. Okay. Why network marketing? Ready? And go.
So many reasons. I started this profession when I was 26, so I am almost 51, and it has changed our life as a family. Like Juli, I was able to be with my kids, work from home, the whole thing. But when I was introduced to Isagenix almost 6 years ago, it changed everything because this was true network marketing, true residual income, and it created massive time freedom and financial freedom for our family. And it's such a gift. Network marketing is such a gift because when you are passionate about what you're sharing and how you're serving other people, when you're taking a product that is proud and true, and you can help change somebody's life with it and then show them how to build an income from it, an income producing asset with it. It is just like incredible. And so network marketing forever. I will be in it forever. I've been in it close to 30 years. I love it with all my heart. It is a dream job, if you even want to call it a job. And I love that you can put in all this upfront work and get paid on it and continue to build and continue to share. You know, I built a 7-figure income with Isagenix, hit millionaire in 24 months. And I am so grateful that I can be an example and show people what is possible. And that's a really great thing. But I can also show people how to pay their mortgage payment and their car payment, you know, through network marketing and through the most amazing company of Isagenix. So network marketing for me forever, it is a game changer. And I think everybody should be a part of it in some way.
Wow. Look at you. Talk about on the wire.
Can you tell I do TV sometimes? Like when you're doing TV, like you have to stay. So I like being put on the spot and I like staying on time. So
you know what I love though, is that when we talk about this, I'm going to ask you another question before we really get going on our subject. And our subjects today, I'm so excited because most people don't know how to get people started, you know, and how to get people paid, you know, and sort of, you know, how to have that sort of that onboarding process. So I'm really excited to sort of dig into that today. But one of the things that I find remarkable as I'm watching you two, and you know, and in our conversations previous is our relationships, you know, and I think sometimes we forget that one of the coolest things about our profession is our friendships. And I look at the list of my closest friends, and of course I have friends inside and outside our profession, but my closest friends that I do the most with are definitely in this profession, and they think like us. And network marketers, professional network marketers, we tend to think in this sort of limitless possibility world where we can say yes to things that most people unfortunately have to say no to. Do you find that too? Relationships are pretty cool?
huge. Yes.
Awesome.
I mean,
Yeah.
Juli and I are not even financially connected, and we love each other. We've trained together in Canada. She helped me open my luggage in our hotel room because it was locked and I couldn't figure it out. And she's like, I'll help you. And so even, you know, where you're not financially linked to people, it's such a blessing in the relationships within the company, let alone outside of the company.
Can't believe we let you into Canada, but you know.
Hey, both of us.
Those Canadians loved us. They did.
Those
You asked them.
Canadians, did they teach you how to swear?
They did teach me how to swear.
All right. So Julie, I'm coming back to you. I want to ask this question in all sincerity because people need to know. A lot of people listening right now are brand spanking new. They don't know, you know, why people choose this company. A lot of them think we drank the Kool-Aid. We say such nice things to each other, you know. But why Isagenix? I mean, there's a lot of companies out there, and there's some good companies. I personally think we're the best. But you know, I have massive experience, like you, Trudy, many years. I look at and if there was great companies like us, I'd certainly say so. But why Isagenix? You two are both brilliant women. You could have gone anywhere. And Julie, I'm going to start 90 seconds again. Explain to people why you chose Isagenix and why you've committed these years and built your legacy within this company. Ready? Go.
This is probably my favorite question. So I was a college athlete, a college soccer coach, Olympic development soccer coach, high school soccer coach. I coached just about every age group of girls. And then all 4 of our sons, as I mentioned earlier, are athletes or were athletes. My husband was an athlete. So when I was first introduced to network marketing, it was with a skincare company. And although I was able to earn some good money with that company, it didn't wake me up every morning and get me fired up, right? I mean, I love helping people get healthy. I've trained so many people over the years. I've been a personal trainer, a group fitness instructor, owned my own fitness business. And Isagenix was just the perfect fit. It took me a little bit of time to find it. But when I found it, wow, oh, wow, I was so fired up. And I get up every morning, even after 8 years, you guys. I cannot wait to see who I can help that day. And I mean it. I'm sincere about this. We have made some great changes in people's lives from a physical standpoint. And, you know, while it's nice to help people with their wrinkles and their makeup, it doesn't jazz me up as much as this does. So I think helping people make healthy changes is the reason I went to Isagenix, because they are hands down, or we are hands down, the best health and wellness company. There's not one shred of doubt in my brain that we will take this all the way. And my sons use it. My husband uses it. Our daughter-in-law uses it. I mean, we are an Isagenix family, and it has showed after using this all of these years. We're all healthier than ever. So I love it.
Dun, 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 dun. I think she's look at that. She
Jules.
I think she's trying to kick your butt here there, Trudy. Trudy,
Okay.
this is like when people ask me that question, and I really think about it. Why? Because I always think that when I look at our leadership, you could really succeed in any profession, and certainly succeed with any company. But this really is such an important question when I think about it. So I'm actually the same one. 90 seconds. Why have you, Trudy? Why have you chosen to build your legacy and bring your family into and dedicate your life to Isagenix? Tell me about that. Ready? Go.
I too love this question. I love Isagenix. I can genuinely say that from my heart. Like, it makes me emotional, actually. This company has the most incredible products, but it also has the most incredible compensation plan. And the company that I was with previous to Isagenix for 19 years and was number 2 in that company at one point, their compensation plan was not anything like this. We had to start on the 1st and we zeroed out on the 30th. And we had to do it all over again every single month for 19 years. And with this, when you say legacy, David, this is a true legacy company. If something were to happen to me or my husband, our kids would inherit what we've built here, and vice versa. So it's such a blessing that we have, we never zero out our volume. It's such a blessing that it is a legacy company and can be passed on. Such a blessing that we get paid infinitely deep on both legs, no matter if we enrolled them or not. Like, to not have a breakaway plan is huge. I love the Cougars, and I'm so grateful for their integrity. And I'm so grateful for Kathy's mentorship in my life. She's one of my dearest friends, and I can talk to her about anything, and I have. And I'm so grateful for the ELT. I'm so grateful for you, David. Like, you've been really instrumental in my growth. You've done some of the best network marketing training I've ever been to and taken my team to. And you were a huge part of my success in the beginning of this build when we went to UIA in Phoenix that first year. So Isagenix is everything to me, from the products to the compensation plan, to the leadership, to my friends in the field. I love it.
Wow. And thank you for that, by the way. Thank you for the compliment. And, amazing what you can say in 90 seconds, because there's so many people new or watching. Many of them don't know you. They don't know your story. Juli, 8 years. Trudy, how many years has it been?
It'll be 6 in January.
6 years. And we've got this wonderful kind of sequence of skills. I always say, really there's about 10 skills that we need to master in order to really build a legacy within our profession, within Isagenix. And today, like I said, I want to focus on the, how to present, how to get people started, and how to get people paid. But before we get into this presentation part, which I'm so excited to hear, because every leader has their own nuances. It's not like we all follow a system, but we bring ourselves to the system. So it's like, that's why it's so cool, because you two both have slightly different styles, even though you're in alignment and you have similar visions and you have similar dreams and goals, really, which is around freedom and time, contribution, right? But when we get down to it, when I think about the power of connecting, and if we look at week 1 and week 2, and we look at, the idea of, of really connecting with people, and then we talk about this idea of really presenting, I want to just ask you a question first. And Trudy, I'm going to ask you this question first. That power of questions. And I think so many people don't understand that one skill of being able to ask questions, but not practicing it in a setting while you're trying to present. I'm talking about practicing with a stranger in a bus line, or practicing with an old man on a bench, or practicing with anyone. That we can build a lot of the skills that we need just in life. And what it does is it amplifies our life, and it brings such richness. And then when we learn those skills and we practice them in everyday life, we can bring them to our presentation, right? And just talk a little bit about and both of you, I want to hear from both of you, but I'm going to start with you, Trudy. Just talk a little bit about your understanding and your learnings around the art of really asking great questions.
So I appreciate that. I love people. So my mom always told me growing up, you could literally, talk to a rock. I I
Hello,
can
Rock.
bring up, hey, Rock, how's it going? I can literally stand next to a total stranger and create an incredible conversation in a coffee shop line, at the mall, anywhere. I can start this conversation and it leads me to connect with them on social media and eventually helps me to bring them into this fabulous company and change their life. And I really see that vision. I really see that. And like Juli, like I wake up every day, who can I serve today? Who can I reach out and bless today? Who can I help today? Like my life has been so changed. I want to change the lives of so many other people. And I think our presentation skills go in all different ways, right? It could be a conversation in a grocery store line. It could be, you know, having a small gathering at your home, sharing, you know, shakes with people and, you know, our skincare with people. We have so many amazing products. We're not just a shake company. We're not just a weight loss company. And also in the people that you see all the time, right, Joel? Like we go get our nails done and our hair and we see the bank teller and all the things, and bringing up those conversations, you know, and having get people ask you what you do because you're interested in them genuinely. You're interested in the relationship. You're not out to get someone. You're out to create a relationship with someone and help change their life over time. And so that's what I love about presenting. I think your purposeful message is
Trudy,
key.
I want to jump in because I think what you just said,
Yeah.
a lot of new people will miss. Because I
Mhm.
think the reason why people quit our profession, quit Isagenix, is because they kind of get into the getting people. They almost feel like when they walk out, they're like, and they become this inauthentic kind of like shadow of themselves where they have to, and they've got a script running in the back of their head and they just feel weird. I mean, they talk about this, you know, freaky deaky network marketer. A lot of that is because they don't value this idea of building relationships. And I'm going to come back to you about the whole art. And I really think it is an art. It's something that I've watched you do. I mean, I can sit back in a restaurant and watch you talk to the waiter. And I can feel if you watch a waiter walk up to you and you watch a waiter or a waitress walk away from you, there's something you seem to leave with them. And it's not about you getting them into a business. It's about you seeing them as a person and really noticing who they are and how they are. And I mean, when I see you pay a compliment, it's such a genuine, beautiful and real thing. It's not, oh, yeah, I'm going to pay you a compliment and then I'm going to slide my hand into your pocket and sneak out your credit card. Right? Now, before I bring you to the relationship part, Juli, talk about that. Your lessons with this whole art of asking questions, and even as a mother of 4 sons that we can see all behind you, by the way. Congrats on that. You know, the power of questions and why they're so important.
Well, I'm like Trudy a lot in a lot of ways, in that I love people and I value meeting new people. I come from a big family. You know, it was always chaos all the time around us with 6 kids, and I was on a lot of sports teams growing up. And you know, I just love being around people. So one of the things I learned early on is that I needed to listen more because I like to talk. Those of you who know me know that. And I was having a harder time listening because I wanted to get to my agenda, right? And so I'm just going to be, I mean, that's just perfectly honest. I learned after about a year that I needed to be a better listener and also looking for cues, right? Cues and clues. And I'll just give you one example. I was on a plane actually flying out to an ICU in Phoenix once, and a woman next to me who was handicapped was struggling to open a protein bar. And so I said, can I help you with that? And so I helped her open the protein bar and I gave it back to her and she began to eat it. And I said, it must be really hard, you know, getting around and especially on a plane and in airports. Tell me about that. So I was genuinely, you know, curious about how that looked for her. We started a great conversation. After about 30 minutes, I said, by the way, can I check out your protein bar? She was done. And so I flipped it over and I looked at the ingredients and I gave it back and I said, thank you. And she said, why did you want to see that? And I said, well, you know, I work with a nutrition company. We have great protein bars. I'm always curious to see what's out on the market. And that sparked a conversation about Isagenix. After we talked about 2 minutes about Isagenix, I quickly ended that subject and asked her some other questions about her and what she does for a living and why she was going to Phoenix. And so before, when I first got started, I would have just blabbed the entire trip about Isagenix, right? But I learned that, you know, it's people can pick that up, right? and they can see that that's your agenda. And I didn't want that. I mean, we ended up becoming great friends. I see her a lot. She actually just moved to Phoenix from Kentucky. But she ended up buying Isagenix and becoming a consultant. So, but it was through, you know, her reaching back out to me after we became friends on Facebook. So I love people just like Trudy, and you can see it every time you're with Trudy, you can tell that that's in her heart.
What came up for me, Juli, I love the story. I was thinking about Kelly Dickerhoof, you know, with her story with sitting with Jenny Elo on a plane, you know, and Kelly, when I first met Kelly, Kelly wouldn't speak. She'd never speak in public. She wasn't going to do anything like that, right? But you see it today, and you see how she's grown into this world, and how but that started with a conversation on a plane. And when she tells the story, that's what she talks about. She'll talk about how genuine Janie was, and how the questions and the conversation was so real and alive that Isagenix wasn't the agenda. What the agenda was just two people connecting. So I love that story. But Trudy, again, I want to get into the presenting part, but one thing I just want to sort of be aware of, and maybe you both have a thought about this. There are people watching you too, and you talk with such ease and elegance, and you're eloquent, and you're, you know, confident. And there's a lot of women who are looking, and men, who don't have that. And they see you and they say, well, it's all right for you, but you have the confidence to even say hello, where I walk through life with a headset on, my head down, and I'm terrified. What advice would you give to that new person listening to us right now, who maybe would be in the comparison mode right now of just judging themselves against you two, and not seeing you 8 years ago, or in your case, 20 odd years ago, when you first started in the profession, you know, where maybe you felt that way, maybe this was all clumsy to you. And I just want to always remember those people as we do the training, is that they're looking through maybe a slightly different lens, and maybe the word blessing people doesn't maybe land on them in the same way, because they've never heard that, because they're so busy struggling through life that the idea of blessing someone is like, what do you mean by blessing someone? I just want to feed my kids today. Do you guys want to touch on that before we get into the training?
I am so glad you asked that, David, because I think that a lot of people feel that way. And I feel like when they hear no, it paralyzes them, and they think that this isn't for them. And I know Juli and I have both heard tens of thousands of no's, and going for no is a good thing. And I would say that confidence and posture go a really long way. You fake it till you make it. And I will tell you this story that most people watching this recording will resonate with. When I first started my career at 26 years old, I was bound and determined to make a difference for my family. And I knew that this was an avenue for that. And so I didn't know how to do and sell what I was selling in that company, but I knew where to learn. And so I went to people that were successful, and I watched them, and I emulated them, and I said their jokes, and I dressed like them until I had my own jam. And that was really key for me, because then I was learning from them. And then all of a sudden I felt comfortable in my own skin, and I felt like I could take on the world with that. Same with Isagenix. When I came here, I was like, who's successful? And I went and met with those leaders. I asked them lots of pointed questions, and I found out like what's important in this company versus what I was learning in my other company, and how it was different. You know what I mean? And so I love that you asked that, because when all of you watching that are brand new, you're going to hear no. And I just want you to know we've all heard no. Juli and I have all heard no. And before you are a master at anything, you're a disaster. I know David has said that before, and it's true in anything in life. So practice makes perfect, and you're going to hear no, and it's going to be messy, and it's okay, because same in all of our lives, same things have happened. So that's what I would say. And I hope that encourages you guys.
Yeah, it's great. And I always say practice makes perfectly imperfect, because, you know, in the end of the day, perfection isn't, a lot of people even listening, some of you have got this disease, is like, you know, perfection really is another form of procrastination, you know, where you're waiting to get it right, so you never do anything. But Juli, you want to touch on that again, this whole new person, just to talk to that new person listening that maybe is in that comparison mode, or maybe, you know, they realize it, or they're saying, well, I'm just not you, I don't have your confidence. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, so I love this question too, David, because I tell everyone on my team that expresses an interest in building this business that you need to, number one, before you do anything else, learn to manage your disappointment. And that comes from being a former athlete and a former coach, because we don't win every game. And I always think about guys that go out and they're playing in the Super Bowl, right? And then one team loses the World Series. One team's going to lose and one team's going to win. It's the people that have learned to manage their disappointment that are successful in life, because that happens. Life happens. There's a lot of disappointing things that happen in our life. But if you can learn to manage that and still push forward like an athlete does the day after they lose the Super Bowl, that is a strong, strong skill that if you can achieve that skill or acquire that skill, you're going to do really well in this business.
Awesome. So Trudy, let's get to it. I want to talk about presenting, the power of presenting. I know there's lots of facets on it. So I'm going to hand over to you and Juli. I'm going to, because I know that we're all so polite. If you feel a chance, you want to jump in or you want to add or you want to ask a question, all three of us are in this together. I am hosting, but I'm also here. So ask any questions, jump in. Don't feel like there is no rudeness. Just say, hey, I just want to add, or I just want to ask a clarifying question. Let's have as much fun as we can. So over to you, Trudy. How do we present?
Okay. Well, I'm so excited about being able to share this because there's all kinds of different ways to present, you guys. And when you're building this business, you're going to find that. You're going to find, like we talked about earlier, that you're going to just create a conversation in a grocery store line. You're going to be presenting. You're going to want to know your story before your life, before Isagenix, and your life now. Or maybe you're just at the very beginning. If you're watching this, you don't maybe feel like you have a story. So borrow someone else's story on your team or your coach, the person who got you started. And it's okay as you develop your story. And you can be honest about that too. Like, hey, your shoes are super cute. How are you doing? This life right now is just crazy. I'm so glad that we can be here together. Your kids are cute. And you're just starting this conversation, right? And in that conversation, you're able to invite them to possibly look at what you do. And by asking those questions, you're in a presenting mode every time you're connecting with people. So that is a way of presentation skills. When you're getting to know people on social media, you've met them out and about, or you're cold meeting them on, social media. There's several times I'll reach out to someone and say, hey, I noticed that we've been friends on Facebook and I'm noticing that you're going through some things. I have something that I'd love to share with you that may or may not be for you, but it definitely has changed my life. And I would love the opportunity to share this with you. Let me know if you're interested in that. I love that it may or may not be for you when you're presenting, because then it makes it not feel weird to someone. It makes them feel like you genuinely care. You're just reaching out to say, hey, I've seen that you've got this going on and I'd love to share this with you. I recently did that. I love to build in pages, like where I love to make friends in all kinds of pages on social media. And I just went in and I said, where are all the moms right now working at home with their kids, crawling all over their lap while they're in a Zoom meeting, trying to do their job, trying to raise their kids, trying to homeschool their kids in this crazy time. And I had so many moms raise their hand, and I messaged all of them. And I said what I just shared with you. My heart is hurting for you guys right now. Like, I can't even imagine having kids at home, and I'm an empty nester. They're 27 and 28, thank God. But
we all agree with you.
Yeah, we do, definitely.
Praise the Lord. I said, this may or may not be for you. And I had so many of them reach back out to me and say, thank you for reaching out. And I want more information. And so then that starts that friendship, that relationship. And then I go to their page and see how they're doing. And I like, and I comment, and I'm starting to build that relationship. I want you all to know, as you watch this video and you watch this training, sometimes, most of the time, it takes years of building a relationship before a sale is ever made. People that have gotten started with me have watched me for 5 years, 4 years, 2 years. There's a lot of momentum at the beginning of your business, but then there's times it's like an airplane. You're taking off and you're enrolling a lot of people and you're sharing and stuff, depending on how you want to do this business, if you want to do it as a hobby or full-time or whatever. But as you continue that, there's going to be times where it kind of plateaus off and you want to continue developing the relationship. Because I'm telling you right now, when someone knocks on your messenger and they're like, hey, I've been watching you for a long time and I need this really bad. It's like, whoa, you never liked or commented anything, but now you're reaching out to me, get started. That proves a point right there that you're always in presentation mode. You're always sharing, you're always serving, you're always blessing, you're always adding value.
I just want to jump in for a sec because
Yeah.
I just want to give clarity here. And Julie, jump in as well. When you went back to the shoe conversation and you say, hey, nice shoes or nice kids or whatever, that compliment. So what you're saying, which I want to clarify in my brain, is that that's the start of a relationship. And you're presenting who you are, and you're not presenting Isagenix. You're just presenting interest. You're presenting curiosity. You're presenting a human being who's interested in somebody else. And that relationship can move from the grocery line, potentially to online, potentially to a long time of connecting before it can actually move into the business. Is that what I picked up on? And Julie, do you want to jump on that as well?
Yeah, for sure. I think, starting that conversation, that initial conversation, is just being a good human. Give somebody a compliment, especially during these times that, people are feeling uncertainty. It doesn't take any effort really to say, I hope you have a great day when you're leaving a store. Whether you're getting a relationship out of it or not, that's just an important skill to have, a lifelong skill. So you practice doing things like that, and then you get better at continuing the relationship, I think.
Yeah, it's funny because, I go to this gym and I watch everyone, and I think I'm the only person in the entire gym that knows everyone because I make it my business and I see them every day, and Harvest is this girl who's, her family own a farm in Saskatchewan. She's newly married. She's great. I went up to her today and I said, can I say something to you? She said, well, I said, you are so inspire me when I watch you work out, right? Simon's this young kid who plays for rugby. I lent him a book the other day from the All Blacks called Legacy. Everyone, when I walk in there, I just feel like, and I'm not trying to get anyone, I'm there anyway. I could either be in a relationship, but what I notice with most people, they're in their little space. And the way I break that down is with my smile, with questions, with courage to go over and say hello, with, just that consistency of being, like you said, which I love, just being a good person. And so do you want to touch on that, Trudy? Because I think there's something you use, a term, purposeful messaging. Do you want to talk a little bit about what that means?
Yeah, and I have to speak to what you just said about you, and it is so true. And I think that comes from your background. You went into another country and you made friends and they want to have you over for dinner. Like, that is such a good thing. And people may be watching this right now going, oh my gosh, I could never be that courageous to walk across a gym and have a conversation with someone. And again,
especially you're talking about an attractive woman who, because that in itself, I don't think about her as a woman. I think about her as a person, and I talk to her as a person. And that's what I can see too, is like guy girl. There's almost a separation in the guy girl thing as well. So I'm glad you picked up on that as well, because I do think it's like anything we're talking about, it's a muscle and a practice that we get better at with practice. We don't just walk up tomorrow. We sign up in Isagenix and tomorrow you're like, oh yeah, I'm just a natural connector. It's like you're a messy connector who gets better with practice every single day, right?
100,000%. So to continue on presenting, I love when people can hear your voice and see your face. And I think that texting is fine, but not where it's like really amazing. I mean, how many times have you actually gotten like a video that someone made on their phone and sent it to you? David, I can make you a video and be like, David, I miss you. How are you? You see my smile, you see my eyes light up, you hear my voice, right? And you watch it and you're like, that was so freaking cool that she just took the time to send that to me. Well, I love doing that on my phone and sending that to people as another level of building relationships, because people are busy, okay? People are busy and they don't necessarily want to get on the phone. They don't necessarily want to set up a Zoom meeting. Some people do, some people don't. But when you do your voice message and when you do your video message, this is just another way of purposeful messaging that comes across very genuinely. And you know what? You guys are all going to see this too, especially if you're building on social media, like on Facebook. You see the little dot, it drops down. You see the little dot and it drops down. There's a lady on my team. Her name's Duska Mills. I followed up with her for 15 months and I knew her from my previous company. I knew she saw my message every single time. And I was not going to give up on her. I was not going to give up on her. She needed this so bad for her physical life. And she needed it desperately for her financial life and her future. And so I want to encourage you guys that when you are sending messages, no matter what it is, if the little ball falls down, it's not anything personal about you. It's they've got stuff going on. They might be at a stoplight. They might have saw it really fast. They might have gotten in an argument with their spouse. They straight up might be like scared to death because they're so overweight and they know that you do something with helping you get healthy, and they're like scared to death of that. And it's going to take a lot of them to come out of that.
And you know, maybe they're a little intimidated to even answer back, you know, because some people are in that mode where they're just not ready yet. But something happened to me quite often where I'll type a reply to someone, and then 3 weeks later I go to my phone and I realize I forgot to push send. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've done that. So whatever story that other, Julie's got her hand up, but whatever story you're making up, I mean, that genuinely, and what I'll often do is I'll take a photo of the whole thing and I'll send it. When I realize what I've done, I said, can you believe I wrote that a week ago and I forgot to send it to you? Because I want them to know it's genuine, because it sounds like such a lot of BS if I just said, yeah, you know, I kind of typed a message and I forgot. And when I realize I've done it like 50 times, I think, because I get in a hurry and I think I push send, or the phone rings while I'm typing the message and I completely forget to go back to it, right? I mean, these things happen, right?
100%. And that's why follow-up is so key. So key.
And just also, so you know, next week, we're going to do a call with Susan Sly, and we're going to do a whole thing, and Abby O'Neill, we're going to do a whole thing on follow-up. So that's going to be great next week.
That's good. Good. Yeah. We love the Sly and the O'Neill. They're amazing, aren't they, Jules? We have amazing friends and leaders in this company. Another thing that's really powerful too in presenting is that you really need to hone in on your avatar. And you will start to hear this as you start to do more training in this company. Your avatar, who are you trying to reach? Because your marketing and you're reaching out and all of the things is going to make that person feel like you're talking right to them. And I was talking to Jessica Rigner yesterday, and we were talking about how she builds and how she finds people, and we were comparing notes, which I love. And she said, anybody that is into high quality, high end toddler clothes, like those are my people. Because that's what she's in her life right now with her new foster baby. And she's like, I have built so many relationships on this, you know, special place of like a little boutique where she's buying these clothes, and then other women start to talk there. And so she starts to have conversations with them. And that is really important, you guys, as you build your business. Who are you trying to reach? Who is your avatar? Because you can't reach everyone. You have to really hone in on who you're trying to reach. Because if you try to reach everyone, you won't reach anyone.
Well, so that's really key. And Julie, I just want to jump in again. Julie, you see how I'm jumping in, Julie, so feel free to jump in here. But I know what I love about this is when you have an avatar, it's because it's someone who you're like, there's something about them that you're like yourself. So the connection is actually quite easy because you have so much in common. And when we think about the ability to have common ground, and so you mentioned it earlier, and it's kind of like a little bit of a throwaway line about, you know, when you're on Facebook, you go into these different groups that you're interested in, and you're connecting with people in the group, but you have this natural connection because of the interest you have. Is that kind of what we're talking about?
Yes, so true. And journal, like you guys starting out brand new right now, journal everything you love and go find out about it. Nathan and I love to ride our Can-Am 3-wheeler motorcycle. I'm in tons of Can-Am pages, building those relationships. And when we go out and I'm showing that I'm eating a bar, or I'm showing that I made a shake on the side of the road and I'm not eating crappy food as we're riding our Can-Am through the woods or the town or the valley, and I'm like a totally healthy biker babe, right? So there's all these different things. We love Frenchie bulldogs. You know, we love to have fun. We love to jet ski. We just bought a second home in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho because of Isagenix. And we love water sports and all the things. So whatever it is that you love, or you feel like you want to get to know more people in that, journal it all out, because you represent
We could
so
actually,
many things.
we could actually give an exercise. I love the idea as we're training. So if you've got a pen and paper right now, I'm going to ask Julie, maybe, why don't you look at some of the avatars? What are some of your points of interest? So as you're hearing some of these people, you could be writing it down. It's like, oh yeah, I like motorbikes too. Or I like, drinking shakes on the back of a motorbike, which sounded odd to me, but no, I'm just kidding.
A bar. I eat a bar on the back of my mind.
I love it. I love it. Well, I'm a biker, so it's awesome.
I know.
And you said biker babe, which I love too. So Julie, what's some of when you think of avatars, what's some of your points of interest? Obviously sports you've mentioned, but can you give us a list of yours as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I like people with high energy that are into fitness, obviously. One of the things I've done recently is we are in the process of building a house. So I joined 3 Facebook groups that are all about building a house. And so I will post in there. I haven't posted anything about Isagenix, but I posted me standing in our basement where the cement walls were just poured. And I had subtly a Bia in my hand or whatever. And I posted that and I said, basement's been poured today. And, then people start commenting and they're seeing this. And so we're, again, developing those relationships. But I like fun. I like to have fun. I mean, I think that's important in life. And you can have fun doing whatever. I mean, Trudy and I were in that hotel. She couldn't get her suitcase open. We were training the next day on stage, and she could not open her suitcase, which had her makeup, her clothing. She was on the line with the suitcase place. I was cracking up. We had fun. She wasn't having as much fun as I was. And then finally, she was on the phone with her husband. He was trying to figure it out. And I walked over and I pushed a little button and it popped open. This was after like an hour and a half. So, we made a stressful situation kind of fun and we got through it. So I like people like that. Those are my avatar.
Awesome.
So fun.
Yeah, back to you, Trudy.
So fun. All right. So yes, that is a great activity. Just thinking about all the things, empty nester. I'm a grandma. I have an over 1-year-old.
Say it's not so. You look so hot. You're not a granny.
You did not know that?
Granny biker babe? Come on.
I am not a granny. Ew.
Ew.
No, my grandson is 13 months old and it's so crazy. So you could I love to relate to people talking about, you want to have energy to run around. And you want to know something I've always thought about is what do I want to be when I'm in my 50s and my 60s? What do I want to look like? What do I want my brand to be? What do I want to wear? I am not ever going to look like a granny. I'm not wearing granny panties. I'm not wearing any of that stuff. And so I think that in your heart, in anything
Did she?
You have to
Hold on, Julie. Did she?
I just said it. I said it.
Did she say granny panties?
Granny panty. Well, I'm older than Trudy, and I'm not a grandma yet, but I'm going to have a cool name. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I'm Mimi. That's my name. But I'm just being really honest. Intentionality with anything in life is going to help you attract the people that you really want to attract into your life, into your business, all of it, because it all goes like this. Some of my best friends are in this business and on my team and all the things. It's just the coolest thing ever. So be encouraged by that, because you watching this, you have an incredible story. You are an incredible person, and you're going to be incredibly successful in Isagenix when you're intentional about it. And so know that, because that's a big deal. When we talk about sampling, I'm not one to just be walking around handing out samples, because that is something that I tried in the past. And if I didn't have their information to follow up, it was kind of frustrating. So I want to give you an idea. Our sample cups have BV attached to them now, which is really cool. And you can take this. And again, I want to just have you think about who are the people in your life that you see regularly that you could present to in a way that would be intentional, but building the relationship. So think about nail techs and your hairstylist and your esthetician and your community groups, or your Bible study leader, your massage therapist, people that you're seeing on a constant basis. Make a cute little bag. And as you're building that relationship, it's not going to be like you say this the first few times. I'll give you an example. It took me forever. Kathy Coover and I were talking about this the other day. It took me forever to find someone in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho to do my hair, because my hair is a big deal. It's natural curly. It's got a mind of its own. And oh my gosh. And speaking of curly hair, I'm in tons of curly hair groups, which is really fun.
Guess what? I'm not.
I know. I know. It's really fun. It's like our hair. I'm going to write a book about it someday. But anyways, my girl, I just happened to find this girl, and the way that I interview them is I have them give me a blowout. Like they have to style my hair, shampoo, style it. So we start this relationship and this friendship, and she does a fabulous job.
Wait. You said something. Don't forget where you're at. You said something which I love, because I was thinking about that. Like my banker, I was working out yesterday, and my trainer was talking about his father just sold a property and has millions of dollars, but doesn't have a banker that he has a relationship with. I said, what? This was Sunday morning. And I said to him, do me a favor, pick up my phone. I said, go on down. I told him my banker's name. I said, text him right now. He said, Dave, it's like, 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning. I said, I know, just text him. Just say, hey, got a question for you. See what happens. He said, really? I said, yeah, just do it. And so he texted him at 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning. And I said, but hold the phone. And within 5 seconds, the answer came back. And he stood there and he was shocked, because he said his dad sometimes waits 2 or 3 weeks to talk to his banker. And I said, hey, if I'm going to have a banker, I want a banker that I'm in relationship with. And that's what you just said. You said, I'm starting a relationship with the woman who's doing my hair. You didn't say, I got a new hairdresser. You talked about the relationship part of that, which I really love. And I think, and the other part that I want to clarify as well is, oh my gosh, a lot of people thought how to present. In their whole mind, they've been thinking about how they're standing in front of someone with a little board doing something. And you're talking about how do you live life so that you're constantly presenting yourself and the things you're passionate about in a authentic and true way, right? Sorry interrupting. I want to clarify for these new minds that are maybe not hearing some of the things you're saying, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it was really great because I was like, okay, Emily, first of all, you're amazing. And you made my hair look fabulous. And I've been looking for you for 5 months. So thank you. And we just have this banter going back and forth. I asked her how long she's lived there. I asked her where she likes to eat. I never talked about Isagenix for like the first several times that, she was doing my hair. And then we just started talking. I was like, what did you do previously before this? And, what does your husband do? And just continue to ask the questions, remember? Anyways, it got to the place, like, she was like, well, what do you do? I'm like, I live here in the summer and I'm partnered with an amazing company. And I said, next time I come in, I'm just going to bring you some samples, see what you think about it. And I did. And I'm going to tell you what I brought her. I brought a cute little bag with some tissue paper, and I brought her a cold Bia. I brought her my favorite bar, which is chocolate decadence. I brought her sleep spray. Okay. I brought her a cold water bottle, a stick of blue raspberry hydrate, and Triotic. I love Triotic. And I was like, you know what? Try this. I said, today when you're hungry, try this bar. It's a full meal. And that little Triotic is great for your immunity. You can just dump it on your tongue. It tastes like a pixie stick. And I just kind of went through the products. Before I left, she was like, Trudy, when I came back, the second time after I'd given her the samples, she was like, those were amazing. And I also connected with her on Facebook. So I'm building a relationship with her on social media. The last time I was there before we left for the summer, I made her a cart, and she has not enrolled yet. And you know what? It's okay. She was very interested. I sat in the chair. I made her a cart. I followed up with her, and she's like, I've got a lot going on in my life right now. And I was like, you know what, babe? I'm here whenever. And if this is for you, great. If not, no worries. I'm so grateful that we're friends, and I have a hairstylist. Please don't ever leave Coeur d'Alene. But that doesn't mean
she's gonna bribe you to stay.
Yeah, there you go. And that doesn't mean that she's never gonna come around, because I'll tell you right now, she loved the products. And the products I gave her were sticky products. Sleep spray, are you kidding me? I cannot do without it, right? So anyways, I just wanted to give you guys those few ideas.
I want to ask Julie a question on this one. Julie, do you want to talk about that? Do you use sampling? I know everyone has slightly different styles. And if you do you have a story about how you use them, just so someone can hear maybe a different approach? Because one of the things that came up for me, I always think about the new person, and maybe they don't have a lot of money. And so when I hear that list of all the samples, because obviously this is a long relationship, and Trudy's, you're in a financial situation where giving a lot of things can work. But for someone else, maybe they're feeling, oh my God, I can hardly afford my own products. Do you have any thoughts around that, maybe with that new person in mind?
Absolutely. So one of the things, because we work from home right now, and because of all that's going on, I don't get out as much as I normally do, and our boys also are gone. So I am meeting with different people for our house. So I have meetings with the cabinet guy, the door guy, the window guy. And every time we have a meeting, you guys, and we're wearing our masks, I am taking isodelites. I take a cold Bia. I'm the same way. What I think is a great idea is to use your Isabody coupon and earmark it for a little quick gift like that. Isa Delights are great. Snack bites. You don't have to give somebody a whole bar or a sleep spray, because that isn't as cost effective for people who are just starting. But again, that was a relationship that Trudy had already and was going to be an ongoing relationship. So there you can make a little more of an investment in that person as far as sampling. But use your $200 Isabody coupon to get products, and just specify that they're going to go to people when you're out and about, that you can gift an Isa Delight.
Such a good thing. And it's a tax write-off. Let's talk about that.
And I was going to say one other thing. I order a lot. If you go through my pantry, in fact, I did a training here on the weekend, and the girls who were here couldn't believe how much Isagenix. And like, oh, you really do use it? Yeah. 15, 16 years. Yeah, every day.
You're like, look at my skin.
Yeah, look at this. I'm 112. What can I say? But what I was going to say was that, sometimes some products I have more, an extra. And so those extra I give away all the time, rather than, because I do buy on a regular basis. And so there's often a few like isodelites. I don't eat them all the time, but I love giving them away and I love sharing them. So even when you think about samples, if you get your head past that and start saying, and I love the idea is both. If you want to really give something specific, amazing. But if you want to sort of, like you say, give things that you're using coupons for, awesome, right? So back to you, Trudy, on that.
I'll give you an example too that my sister did when she first started. You guys are going to love this because this is very cost effective. And she just got the Isa Pro, and she put a scoop in a Ziploc snack bag. And she said, try this and see if it helps you sleep well. Shake it in the shaker, mix it up in a little blender or whatever. And she also did give sleep spray and, to strategic people. And that helped build a lot of the base of her business, because people were like, oh my gosh, I felt so good when I woke up in the morning. And that really satiated me, and I wasn't snacking at night. So here you take a canister of a $40 product and you break it down into these really cute Ziploc bags with a cute sticker with your name on it or something. And so it doesn't look like you're dealing, drugs, and you share it and you're following up. Like, how did you like that? Didn't it taste like chocolate milk? Did you sleep so good? Did your belly wake up flatter? People are going to be like, hey, I want some of that. And I feel like in this arena that only if you're seeing a person on a consistent basis would I sample. I feel like that's really key to know. And that's my personal opinion. Some people send out samples all the time and they do great with it or whatever. They mail shake samples, things like that. But I just feel like that relationship is really key to go along with that.
Well, and also, when you're talking about that, we haven't heard your particular story, but you touched on it earlier. Sharing your story is as good as a sample as well, because when someone hears, if you tell a story that it really means a lot to the person you're sharing it with, that can have such an impact versus even trying a product. Because if the before and after of your story and the construct of the story, and that's why those of you that haven't practiced from week one, if you haven't, go back and listen to Emily and make sure that you get this down, because it's so great. So even if you don't have the money for samples, you can share your story or anybody else's story, and it really can have that impact as well, right, Trudy?
Absolutely. And keep an album of before and afters on your phone, so you can click on it and be like, oh my gosh, look at this. This is my friend Mary, or this is your own transformation in different spots of your transformation. Because like David said, that can be as powerful, and it is a sample, because our stories are powerful, you guys, and people want to know what's in it for them through your story. They don't necessarily care about your story. They want to know through your story what's in it for them and how it's going to change their life.
Yeah, it's
And
interesting.
I love that. If I can jump in here real quick, and just Trudy does such a good job of being super intentional. And I think that's, what we all need to remember every day is you're thinking again, who can you reach out to? Who can you talk to about this? This is life changing for so many people from a product standpoint. So being intentional and really owning it. I always think about that when I go out, I own it. I am all about Isagenix. And it comes through in everything I do, every movement I make, every, conversation I have, not that we're talking about Isagenix, but just that, I feel good and I'm happy and I'm doing something I love. And that comes through even if you're not talking about it. So I love that. And you do a really good job of that, Trudy. And you do too, David. You've always been brilliant at that. You can tell that you really love what you do. So I have a question for you.
Yeah, go.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So what
is this the one that's going to make me blush? You want me? You may ask me a question.
No, I'm going to ask that one.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm going to be nice. So I just want to know what it's like working with a bunch of network marketers. Like, what is that like?
Well, this is
for you on a daily basis?
Yeah, this is a great story or great question for me because I, as you know, doing what I do and coming from where I came from, I worked for the largest personal development training company in the world at the time and the fastest growing. So I was training anywhere from 1,600 to 6,000 people every single weekend, right? So imagine, and I was making a fortune because I was not only delivering high quality programs, but I was selling programs and I got a percentage. So I thought I'd hit the emotional and financial lottery. But here's what happened after 2 or 3 years. And because people would buy packages of programs. So we sold 13 different programs. And some of them were extreme programs like Warrior Camp or Wizard Camp or, The Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, a Guerrilla Business School. So they were like the whole spectrum, life directions with some of our programs. What happened was people would buy the whole suite. And so I'd see them coming back. And here I am thinking, oh my God, we're changing lives. And I was kind of new at this. And, I'm thinking, oh, this is the best. But then I see them a year later. And I see like 3 programs later. And I'm like, what happened? Like they were addicted to the programs because the programs would go so good. And the community was so amazing. And, hugging was part of our culture and dancing and, having these real deep, rich connections. But they're going back to their toxic lives, to their toxic jobs, to their toxic relationships. And so what I realized was there were the 3 essential elements was the right vehicle at the right time with the right you. So here I was delivering on the you, but I wasn't offering a vehicle at the right time. So all these people were spending a fortune and it was expensive. People were investing $35,000 in the suite of products, right? And so, for me, when Kathy Coover came to one of my events, she was sitting in the front row and we had this conversation. It was the partnership between her and I and Jim and I was the idea that we could bring personal development into Isagenix. And that what I realized was when you work with a network marketer and people say, why are you traveling across the world to New Zealand to do a program that people are paying $197 for? I said, you know what? Because in that room, someone's going to walk out of that room and they're going to build a dynasty. And that one person's going to impact 100,000 lives because they have the vehicle, they have the right timing. And because of the mindset and because of the culture of Isagenix, we can impact the world. So that's what happened is I fell in love with network marketers because there was the chance. It wasn't just learning something and going back and doing the same old crap. It was learning something and being a part of a community that held you accountable to a greater life. Wow. Should I drop the mic?
Wow.
Ooh.
Drop the mic. That was a great
I've not been fist bump. Let's do a virtual fist bump. Ready? Good question.
I love that. I want to ask you a question, David. I've always wanted to know this. And I bet everybody on this recording series with you wants to know this. What does TS stand for?
Well, lots of people have their own examples of what that could mean. But it's actually my middle initials, Thomas Scott. And the reason I use it, my name is so common, David Wood. And in my bank, there's 467 David Woods. And it's just a common name. And there's also a couple of David Woods out there in the network marketing field that don't have high integrity. And so it was easy for people. And one of them looks a bit like me. He's tall, he's slim, he's got a pointy face like me, right? And it was like, holy crap, people keep mixing me up with these other people. And there's a funny story. I belong to a group called the Transformational Leadership Council, and they invited me to go, but they sent the invite to some other David Wood who ended up coming
Oh,
to a high level
no.
event. But they thought I was, they said, who's this guy? That's David Wood. No, it's not. Right.
Oh
So
my God.
I added the TS as a differentiator. And so it stood out because it's quite a common name. Right. So, but with that being said, I want to just go over to you there, and we can come back. I know we want to talk a little bit about the story, but Juli, you talk about this daily sort of touches, the idea that, you have this, when we're building the relationship, a mindset about a daily activity. And I want you to just sort of talk about that, but also remember the new person who's got a full-time job as well, so that we can see it through two lenses. One is where you're full-time as a professional network marketer, but the second is when I'm starting out.
Yeah. So when I first started, you guys, I was working full time. We had a son in college, 2 in high school, and 1 in middle school. And I was super busy. I mean, as soon as I got home from work, I was washing uniforms, feeding them, getting to them to the ball field, and things like that. So my time was super limited. So if you're on this Zoom today listening to this and your time is very limited, it doesn't take long to send a quick voice text or a text to someone, or pick 5 people that you're going to message and send those out. But when I get someone started, I want to talk about the importance of an everyday touch when you start somebody into either just the products or the business side of Isagenix. Again, it takes 5 seconds to send them a text and say, hey, I'm thinking about you. I know this is your second day. How are you feeling? Don't forget to drink half your body weight in ounces of water. Reach out if you have any questions. Boom, send it, right? But as soon as they order their box, we tell them to watch the videos, and you guys can pull up the how to get started videos, how to do a shake day, how to do a cleanse day. You can Google it. So I make them watch that. And then as soon as they get their box, I tell them to call me. And if they don't have time to call, I tell them to text me that it's there and that they've opened it. And then if they have any questions, they can reach out. But I like kind of going over it on the phone with them, and just kind of talk through every product, because I want them to have the most amazing product experience that they could possibly have. And it takes coaching. When you have somebody who is coming to you for weight loss and they have a big weight loss goal of 40 pounds, then you have to coach that person. This may be the first time they've ever tried weight loss, or this may be the 100th time they've tried weight loss, right? But they've only tried Isagenix once. So make sure that they have a great product experience. Reach out to them every day in the first 7 days, 2 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever it takes. Reach out to them and tell them you're thinking about them. And then if it's somebody I'm close to, like I'm from Ohio, and some of my friends like to swear a little bit, and I talked to David about this, but I will say, I'll joke with them, and I might say, I know this is your cleanse day. This is your first cleanse day. You are not allowed to cuss at me. You may be a little hungry, little hangry, but this is what you do if you are.
Did you
Drink
say
some water.
Did you say hangry?
She did.
Hangry. They might be
Oh,
hangry.
Henry.
But I had a couple of my friends, my Ohio friends, who reached out and they were cussing in the text, and I just laughed. You got to make it funny. Like, they were not like joking. I said, suck it up, Buttercup. I mean, I texted that back to them. I said, you can do this. You've done harder stuff than this. So, again, it's getting them prepared, letting them know that, they may be a little bit hungry on their first cleanse day, but they're going to get through it. You're not going to die. And then the very next morning after a cleanse day, you guys, I will send a text and I'll say, are you alive? Did you survive? Are you going for day 2? Things like that are fun, positive. And again, you're coaching them. So touch them the first 7 days for sure. And then you keep following up with them. Tell me about your progress. How many inches are you down? Tell me about your weight so far. And then, of course, I touch base with them about 5 days before their lifestyle rewards comes out. And I tell them that throughout the time. I'm going to keep touching base. And then I will go over what their next step is, because I tell them from the get-go, I'm going to help you lean out. And then I'm going to teach you how to never have to do anything diety again, right? This is a lifestyle. And so I really think that that conversation throughout their first 30 days is crucial if you want them to have a really good product experience and then be lifelong customers.
Well, the other thing, Julie, you're saying, which I love, because if we go back to what Trudy was talking about, which is the whole relationship. Look at us. We're all like, every time anyone's talking, we're all like, right? Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Cheers. All right.
Mango, love it.
Yeah. But, when we talk about mango, on the weekend, I had all these girls come here for a training, and I realized when they left, they brought a whole box of these, but they drank all my mangoes, and I went to go and drink and all of them were gone. I thought, buggers. Anyway, so talking about swearing. But the idea that these touch points aren't just about building a lifetime, behavior, like a lifestyle. Also, you're building that relationship part, which is that's the sort of hidden factor, because instead of like new people often think they're bothering someone or pestering, but what's been your experience, Julie, in the sense that when you show that you're caring and you're guiding, what has been your overall experience? Do people like, just get lost, stop bothering me, you're a pain in the neck? I mean, is that what happens, or what really happens?
No, I think because I keep it positive and fun, they appreciate it. I've never had anybody say, don't ever contact me again. Right? I mean, they've just invested some money into their health, and they want results. I talk a lot about results, and I talk about long-term results. Like, we want you to get there, and we want you to stay there. And I tell them all the time, I didn't start Isagenix for weight loss. I was a busy, stressed out mama who was having some tummy issues, and I needed a better solution on the go because I was always in my car, right? And I quickly realized that it was my healthy fast food. And that's how I talk about it with these people. So it's not just in their minds that this is going to be 30 days, I'm going to lose 15 pounds and I'm done. I talk to them about how I am 57 years old and I started when I was 49, and I feel better than I did in my 30s and 40s because I'm fueling my body every single day with Isagenix. That is the only thing I've changed in my life. I've always exercised. I haven't changed that, but I feel a whole lot better because I'm fueling my body better. And when you kind of talk about that, when that is your posture throughout the 30 days, then you get lifelong customers. And I think that's really important because I don't want, to enroll 5 people in a month and then nobody orders after that. It's important to me that they become lifelong customers, and that's good for residual income, right?
Of course. Well, again, and we get paid, and for those of you that don't understand the distinction, we get paid on the products that are consumed by our customers. We don't get paid on our customers. That's illegal. That's called, that P word, right? But we do get paid on the products that are consumed. So imagine 16 years ago, someone had a conversation with me, and every month I buy products, and every single month for 16 years, they've got paid for that initial conversation, which is crazy. Because if you look at my pantry, how much products I buy every month, it is astounding, right? But I want to ask you a question. With when you look at this lifetime customer, I think that there's a mix-up. Is for a new person, they often think because someone says yes to the products, they're saying yes to the business. There's a distinction between having a customer who just buys the products. There's a customer who can share with a couple of people. There's a customer who's super part-time and they don't mind sharing with maybe a few more people. And then there's someone who says, yeah, I actually really want to do this as an associate and actually want to build something. Do you want to talk a little bit about those distinctions? Because I think so many people drive people away because there really could be a lifetime customer, but instead we keep peppering them with the business instead of sharing. Because I think that one of your mindsets is that everyone should have, and Julie, I believe this is true for you, everyone should get their products paid for, but it doesn't mean they're doing the business. Do you want to talk about that distinction for me?
Yes, and then Trudy is going to jump into really how she draws it out. But what I do with people is I tell them, listen, you are going to love your results. You are going to want to put this into your body every day for the rest of your life, like we have. I point to how it's helped me and how I've maintained my weight through the big M, through what people go through, my age, women, the big M, through this age group. Chuck has maintained his weight. He's a few years older than me, and he loves to work out, and he uses Isagenix for that. And I mention that throughout this time. And then I say, listen, so you're going to be a loyal customer. You're going to love it, and you're going to want to stay on it. So make sure you place an order every month for 100 points, 100 BV. And I try to put it in language that they're going to understand as a customer, not necessarily the lingo that we speak with Isagenix. And so I talk about just be that loyal customer, because at some point, and it may be 4 years down the road, somebody's going to say to you, Lisa, what in the world have you done? You look amazing. You have so much energy. You're not taking naps every day. You can run around the backyard with your grandkids. What are you doing? And you're going to say, it's Isagenix. And then they're going to say, how do I get it? And so when you're loyal every single month as a customer, then you can invite a couple of friends to join with you. And Isagenix has an amazing referral bonus. It doesn't mean you're doing the business, but because you've been loyal, a loyal customer for 4 years, Isagenix is going to put a little money on a card and send it to you. And isn't that nice?
Can I add in here I
Yes.
love that you said that, because Julie, as women, and I'm sure David does this too, as a man, like literally.
As a man who's in touch with my feminine side.
Okay, there you go. Love it. How about this? Hey, Julie, I've got to tell you, like, this lipstick is so amazing. Like, it's so luscious. It totally stays on. You got to get some of this. Let me tell you where I got it from, right? I mean, oh my gosh, this blah, 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 or this movie or this book or whatever, right? People share things that they love, and people can also resonate and understand what that means. When you said that so beautifully, people are going to ask you. And so you can give them an option. You know, you can send them to me, or you can call me and I'll help you know how to get them started. It's super easy, and you're going to get a referral. Like, we don't get referrals for sharing about things that we love, but Isagenix does, and it can really, really be beneficial. It's your Isagenix savings account. So make sure you guys become an associate. If you have not put in your social security number and become an associate, it doesn't mean you're doing the business. It means that you're banking all the business volume that is rolling out below you. So at some point, I'm going to call you and be like, hey, guess what? If you enroll 2 people, you're going to cycle and you're going to make $700, or you're going to make $2,000, which this just happened in my business last week. Literally, income producing activity. You go in your back office, you see how much people are sitting on. You have a conversation with them. They go, oh my gosh, I want that money on my Isagenix savings account. They share with 2 people and boom, they get paid. So I love the whole referral thing, because people can relate to that.
Well, and you use the word loyalty, which I love. And if you look at loyalty programs, I mean, there isn't a company on the planet that's doing well that doesn't have some form of loyalty program that either they're launching or they've launched. It doesn't matter who it is. There seems to be a loyalty program. What I find fascinating with so many of them, I mean, there's a thing called Dine Up here. And they have these posters in the washroom of the restaurants. And it's like, you know, every time you spend $100, you get like 1 point. And I'm sitting there calculating it, thinking, oh my God, you've got to spend like $1,400 before you can buy a meal. But this loyalty program, the Isagenix loyalty program, is so fair because it just banks, and it keeps banking, and it keeps holding that for you. Like you say, as long as you're qualified. But do you want to say it one more time? Because I know that people want to sort of rewind and hear what you just said there, Julie, about how you talk about the loyalty. It means you're not doing the business. Do you want to just take us, rewind that one more time so they can hear it for a second time? Because they may want to make notes as you say that, because it's such great language that you use, both of you.
Yeah, let me give you an example. I have customers that just are good, loyal product users. They order every month. So every month, at the beginning of the month, I look down at my personally enrolled, and I see who has been faithfully ordering and what their personal holding volume is. So they're not yet consultants. They're just they have personal holding volumes banked up. And because they order every month, that number always goes up. So every month I send them a text and I say, Lisa, this month you would earn $220. I don't tell them cycles because that's our lingo and they don't understand that. So I'll say, you would earn $220 if you find a couple of friends. It doesn't mean you're doing the business, because what that automatically does is it takes the pressure off of them, right? So now they're not thinking, oh my gosh, she wants me to do the business, because you've already said, you put that out there. It doesn't mean you're doing the business. So you're kind of, taking the bull by the horn, so to speak. And you're getting that off their minds. But then I talk about Isagenix has this amazing referral bonus program. So there was one person, you all, that I did this with every month for 8 months. And each month she would give me a thumbs up, or she would say thank you, or she would ignore my text altogether. And one night on a Saturday night in the 8th month, she texted me. It was like 8 p.m. on a Saturday night. And she said, Juli, about that thing, like, I think my husband wants to do an account and my son wants to do an account. So what do I need to do again? And so that's what happens, you all. Don't be discouraged when they don't flip that switch and become a consultant. Don't worry about that. What you're doing is really focused on them and what it means to them. So for those of you who understand the compensation
and their timing, I just want to jump in, and their timing. Like
yes.
you said, that woman was 8 months, but because of how generous the compensation plan is, that money was waiting for her for when she was ready. And it may have been 3 years, it may have been a year, it may have been 3 months. But the idea, what I love about your behavior, let's say, is you're kind of imprinting in their minds that it's sitting there. It's almost like they know something's there waiting. But if we don't tell them, if we don't understand, if they don't realize there is a generous referral program, then they won't even know about it. And they won't know that they have it banked waiting for them. Is that right?
Yes.
Totally.
And I think the one thing to always remember is it's about what's in it for them. And Trudy said that earlier. You've got to make sure that they know that this is in it for them. I mean, this is what's in it for them. Most of us have already maxed out our, when we get $100 for promoting a consultant, right? Those of us who have been in the business a long time, we've already hit that 20 mark where we don't get paid to create a consultant anymore. So I tell people that, listen, I'm not getting a bonus. This is about you getting the money. I tell people, I'm super honest about it. I want you to win. I want you to be thanked for being such an awesome customer to Isagenix and so loyal to us. And I just appreciate you. And they do too. The company does too. And they want to give you this referral bonus. Again, doesn't mean you're doing the business.
So if I was to ask you this question, and Trudy, do you want to jump in there? I heard it.
Yeah, I just have to say this. I have to say this because you're like sitting here like saying this. Guys, when I started Isagenix, I was already running 2 other businesses. I was like, I'm not doing the business. Okay. And here I am, like a top leader in this company making a lot of money. Okay. So even though someone says they don't want to do the business, doesn't mean they really maybe mean that. I will tell you this, it is our job, just like you just said, David, to show them what's possible. And there is $10,000 laying on the table. And when I first came into this as a network marketer, I mean, instead of trying to get me to drink a shake, she should have showed me the comp plan. Because as soon as I saw the comp plan, I was like, holy shiz, let's freaking go.
Did you say shiz? She said shiz. What's your language? Oh my God. I almost
Are you from Ohio or Canada?
Well, hold on. She's saying y'all and you're saying shiz.
Y'all.
I don't know. I gotta translate to the Canadian so we all understand what the hell you guys are talking about.
Well, I got that from Lindsay Wine. That's her cuss word. And now I do it. So, but anyways, seriously, like it's our job to be like, hey, let me just show you something right here. You may or may not be interested in this, but let me just show you. There's $10,000 on the table. Would you be interested in getting that? Because if I don't do my job and I don't show you that right now at the beginning of this deal, you're going to find out later and you're going to come back to me and go, why didn't you tell me about that? Then they can decide. They can make their own decision, but it is our job as the enroller, anytime we bring someone into this, to have that conversation with them, because that's a lot of money and that could change a lot of lives.
I want to bring you back to that and just sort of show, because one of the things we want to talk about is how to get people paid. But if I take you back, Juli, if let's say we're in an elevator and we're just going to go up like 7 floors, and I ask you to sort of do a rerun or a review, on how to get people started, because there was a few things there that you're really critical that you implement over time. I love the one about how you really let them see what's possible. But just do a quick rerun for me, just as we try to tie a bow on getting people started. What are those essential elements that you sort of go through? But you've only got 7 floors. Ready? I'm pushing start.
Gosh. So much pressure.
I know.
So I send them the getting started videos so they know what they're doing so they can have an amazing product experience.
And
That's super
where do you
important.
find the getting started video?
Well, you can Google it or you can look at the app. And that's the other thing I forgot to mention, so I'm glad you brought it up. The
See?
ISA Life app is huge. I tell people to download the app immediately so that they can be, checking their progress. I make sure that they do that. If they need help with it, I walk them through it on Zoom, or if I'm with them physically, I do it physically. I tell them to join the ISA Buddy Challenge. It's another thing I forgot to mention. That's really important for accountability. Make sure you do that with your new people because you want them to get excited and you want them to get a t-shirt. Like the $200 of products is awesome, but I want the t-shirt, right? You need to have them get the t-shirt because then they wear it and it just it brings them in. And, again, I'm a coach or a former coach. I was a team player. I'm all about the gear. Like when we have a shake launch, I dressed in Isagenix, something with Isagenix on me every day for the first 3 days. And on Tuesday, I have my hat, my jacket. I mean, it gets people in that mindset, right? Like a sports team, they put on the gear. When you go cheer on your favorite sports team, you wear the gear. So it kind of puts them in the mindset. People love that. So make sure they do that. And then I touch base with them every day for the first 7 days. And then very often afterwards, joking and keeping it positive. Awesome. I think I just went up 15 floors.
Well, look what we call it. The reason I'm glad we went back because again, those two elements of the ISA app, which is again, everything we're hearing about it, and it's just right there. Amy's right, your whole business, right there in the palm of your hand. And the videos and tools that you're using, the art of duplication that's in there, it's so fabulous, right? But the other part of the ISA Body Challenge as well, which I love the fact, because you did talk about a little bit earlier about the coupon, using that for samples. And then we know where the coupon came from, which is great. We put that puzzle together. Awesome. Let's go back to you there, Trudy. If you want to add anything, please do on that. But then getting people paid. Let's talk about it. Let's get some people paid. I can't believe it. Every time, I don't know why this happens, but I can hear Lynn Hagedorn in my head about tracks to run on. Get your people paid. Get paid and get your people paid. Get paid and get your people paid. You guys at home, you can say it with me. Get paid. Get your people paid.
Get your people paid.
Ladies, we'll say it one more time. Ready? Get paid.
Get paid.
Get your people
paid.
All right, Trudy, how do we get paid?
All right, let's talk about it because this lights me up because I love this part of my job. Okay. So the little paper that I showed you earlier, Crystal Roadmap to Executive, isagenixbusiness.com, under training executive. Okay, you pull this out, you print this off, and you show them the different levels. Okay, and I'm going to draw that out for you. The other thing that is on isagenixbusiness.com, I was on there last night, and we have so many amazing tools that are right there. So you could build this business. Look at this. Then you print out your 30-day action plan right there, isagenixbusiness.com right there. And then you print out your income producing activities. And then you also do your time blocking. And this is really key, and it goes in sequence. So, and of course, I did this for my Jules because when they get real into it, we're going to talk about leader in action in just a little bit because it's so important and so key. So let's talk about Roadmap to Crystal Executive. I always cast a vision for people when they get started, and I let them know, first of all, I want to help you get your products paid for. Okay, let's eat for free. Let's get your groceries for free. And then let's turn those groceries into an income producing asset that will bless your family. So after you are eating for free, now what is a bill that you just hate every month? A bill, 2 bills, what is it? And then I listen and I have that conversation and they tell me, gosh, I would love to get my car payment paid for. Man, I'd love to help with the mortgage. Okay, I'd love to help take the edge off of our financial frustration. And I say, let me show you how you can do that, because by getting started with Isagenix, you have $10,000 laying on the table. And I want to show you how to get that. And the first for that is this: you share, they share, repeat. And I'll never forget, you guys, all of you watching this video, you're brand new. And what I'm going to draw out for you right here, you share, they share, repeat. There's also a video about it that you can watch over and over again. I want you to know that I was such a disaster with this, like such a disaster. Like I had to draw it out and redraw it out and erase it and redraw it out. And now I can do it in the sand on the beach with a stick or on a napkin at a restaurant. And you need to learn how to do this. You share, they share. So you get started. This is you. You want to have one person on your left and one person on your right. Okay. And you want to help them get started. And we do this with the value pack. I love the value pack. We have all different packs, but I'm going to use this example with the value pack. So our work week in Isagenix is Monday through Sunday. Okay. So don't forget that. And when you help someone get started with the value pack, Isagenix is going to pay you $100 referral bonus. How cool is that? But when you enroll one, they're going to give you 100. But when you enroll 2 or more between Monday and Sunday in this Isagenix work week, they are going to double this to $200. I don't know what you guys do right now to make $200, but that's pretty amazing. You're going to help someone change their life, and you're going to get a referral bonus that is going to be such a blessing to your family. So you're already putting $400 back into your pocket. How cool is that? And one thing that you want to love here is that not only do you want to make this $400, this is really cool, but now you want the people you just brought into this to also make $400. So Isagenix is paying you this to help your two people.
Trudy, I want to ask a clarifying question.
Yes, sir.
Whether they're doing the business or not, you could still help them make that money because they're not necessarily in the business, but they are interested in their referral bonus, going back to the earlier conversation. So
yeah, David,
it's not like these are like, oh yeah, business builders. We can still show them how to help their customer get an extra $400, right?
And do you, any of you ever like say no to money? Anybody? No, right?
Not me, kitten.
Everybody. Nobody says no to money. Nobody. If you walked up to somebody and they were coming out of a grocery store and they had groceries in their basket and you said, hey, I'd love to pay for those for you, they're going to let you. Okay. Like everybody loves money. Money is not bad. Money gives you choices. Money gives you freedom. Okay. So you're going to want to help your two people also make this income. Okay. So then Isagenix is going to bless you with $100 for helping each one of them become a consultant. Because when you have one person on your left, one person on your right, you're a consultant. Okay. With at least 100 BB, but we're talking value pack here. So you add another $200 to this, and Isagenix is going to bless you with another $50 bonus if you do this in your first 30 days, become a consultant, and then become a manager, $250. So you're talking another $300 here. So add this up, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's $900. That's going to pay you back for your value pack. You're going to help your two friends do the same thing because this just duplicates all the way down. And then check this out. As you're building this, if you want to or not, okay, I'm just saying, you only have to build 2 sides. And when you have 600 BV here and 300 BV here, you cycle. And every product, you get paid $54.11 a cycle. Every product has a point value like Juli talked about earlier. And you even get paid, you guys, on the people that are ordering that you didn't even enroll. So when you look at our team of 51,000 people, Nathan and I have enrolled personally about 500, and all those other thousands of people were enrolled by other people, and we get paid on that. And so do they when they're a consultant. So I just want to cast that vision for you so that you can cast that vision for all the people you're going to be sharing this with, because this is huge, huge. And then there's director and executive. And I will tell you this, and then Juli has to share this with you because she shared this with me when we were talking and getting ready for this training, and it blew my mind. Blew my mind. So check this out. When you become an executive, which means you have 5 people on your left and 5 people on your right that have each shared with 2 people. That's 10 people who eat. Okay. 5, they've each shared with 2 people on each side. You guys, you become an executive and you get what we call an ELB, an executive leadership bonus of $750 a month when you enroll 2 people a month and you're paid as executive. Okay. And Juli shared with me about our customer referral program. When we are at that level and you guys want to get there, trust me, I know you're new, but you're going to want to get here because there's big money here. We get customer referrals. So when Isagenix.com, somebody goes there, we get those referrals. So Juli, share with us what you shared with me about what you do with some of your customer referrals, because it was really cool.
Awesome. So at that level, when you're a paid as executive, we not only get retail orders that are assigned to us. So for example, if somebody goes into isagenix.com and they place a retail order, they don't want to become a customer or a preferred customer. We get that volume and it just kind of goes down the line. You get in a queue, Isagenix automatically assigns that retail sale to you. But sometimes they say, you know what, I'm going to sign up and save. And we don't know these people and they're given to us, like Trudy mentioned. So as long as I have gotten at least 2 people personally that I've enrolled that month who order 100 BB or more, then if I'm blessed with some of these freebies, then sometimes I will take that person, I'll call into the VIP line and I'll ask to move them to someone else. Now, you may not want to do that. You may want to keep all of those direct to you. And I would suggest that you do, most of that time, but you may have somebody who's really working hard and they would be a great coach. And you can then help them get replaced under that person to bless them. So I love doing that. I don't do a lot of it, but I definitely do it. And it's a very strategic move on my part because I want to help the next person get to the next level or whatever the reason
Sure.
is.
And I think just the point you made, which I think is really important for that new person, you're saying to that new person, you don't have to worry about that. And as you start working with someone and they've really proven themselves and they're showing up and they're putting in the time, and you can tell they're showing up on the calls, they're doing the work, they're doing the income producing activities. And that's when you could say, hey, listen, I'm going to gift or I'm going to move this person to help really build that person that I'm working with. You're not just saying, hey, I'm going to give these out like candy to people and just hope they stick. It's not like that, right? I just wanted to clarify that.
Exactly. It's not like that at all. And I only give them to people that are good coaches and that will do the touch with the people every day when they first get started. I also get involved. So when I enroll somebody new, we'll do a 3-way text together so that they feel supported not only by their enrolling sponsor, but by me. And so, and then we put them into our group page. I think all of us have our own coaching pages. And then we have business pages that are separate from that. But yeah,
And
that's the way
Jules,
I try to do it.
What you said is that really blesses you also with leader in action. Like it gives you leader in action points, which is really key. And I will say this, as you guys are all new, you don't ever want to give away a personally enrolled because you make a 10% match on them. And so when Julie and I were having this discussion, what she just said so beautifully to you is something you could use strategically in a position where you are really looking at your leader in action points. And you can bless someone with these extras, but someone that you are building a relationship with, etc., you want to keep those personally enrolled because you make a 10% match. So the person who enrolled me makes a 10% match on everything that I do up to a certain amount of week, 25 cycles. Guys, that's a big deal. So don't forget that when you're thinking, oh, I'm just gonna get these little bonuses because I'm just gonna enroll all my friends with all my friends. And then one of them becomes a millionaire and you're like, dang, you get the BV, but you're gonna miss out on the 10% match and the executive match.
Did you say dang? You said dang? I'm writing down these words because I want to. Dang! All right, all right. Listen, we're getting closer. I know this next part is so important. Leaders in action, and it's taken us a while, even as a corporation, to get us sort of head wrapped around a plan that can truly help really accelerate and keep people on track. And allow people to understand what the income producing activities, because we hear it all the time, just do the income producing activities. And what the company's done, which I love, is that they've built a rewards program again around these activities, and everything they're doing now sort of funnels back into this one concept. So if we can understand the leader in action concept, and I know, Julie, you happen to be an expert at this. So we're going to hand over to you and you're going to sort of take us in the world of the leader in action and give us a little glimpse behind that door.
All right. Well, this is probably my favorite subject because it really was life-changing for me when I learned how to do it and why it was important. So I got a phone call I was sharing earlier with you all about the fact that I was in the running for a trip to Maui. This was a few years ago. I was 5 or 4 years into my business. I had never even heard of Leader in Action. I just wasn't dialed in. I knew it was tied to a trip, but you know, I was busy. We had 4 kids. I was building my business. I just didn't dial into it, which was a mistake. But when I found out that I could win a trip to Maui completely paid for, I decided to dial into it, right? Because that was like, yes, we're going to Hawaii. So I kind of started scratching it on paper, and it's a math formula. And for those of you who know me, you know I don't like math, but my husband is a CFO. So he looked at it and said, Julie, it's multiplication. You can just multiply at the time. Now it's an addition formula. So it's even easier to track. But the reason we track this, you guys, is because it focuses on your key business behaviors that you need to be doing every single day. So we talked earlier about being all in and owning it. This is part of the things that I'm talking about. When you want to learn about Leader in Action and start tracking it, and this is going to be your homework after this call, that's going to be my call to action for you and my homework, and Trudy's going to give you something too. But I want you to go look under contest and promotions in your back office. And then I want you to pull up the Leader in Action worksheet, and I want you to print it. This is what it looks like. So the very first thing I do 3 days before the month ends and before the new month starts is I print off my new Leader in Action worksheet, and I write the dates. So right now, this is the date. This is a 4-week period. So on Sunday, I had this all filled out. I had the week ending dates. I had the dates at 4-week period. This is month 7 for top achievers for Fiji. I have it all written out. And then I also print out the form on the back, which is the tracking sheet. And this is where I write down my enrollments, my rank advancements, and I give myself points. So the reason I'm into this is because we do have a tracking system online. If you log into reports and you look under recognition, you will see it tracked online for us under Leader in Action, but it's not to the minute or even to the day. So I keep it on paper. I'm old school so that I can see it every day. And I don't have to go to my phone and pull it up because it's sitting here right in front of me. And I can look at it and say, oh my gosh, I have no enrollments. Yeah, there it is. I just enrolled somebody today.
Can I say something that I think is really important about what you just said about the 4-week? I think a lot of times people, especially when they're new, they think this is by month. And it's actually by 445. It's by the commission weeks here at Isagenix. It is not by month. And I think that people really need to understand that. So can you tell them where they can find that and write that down like you were saying, the calendar?
Yeah, so that's also in your back office under the Leader in Action information. They show you the calendar month. So you know your dates ahead of time. There's no guessing. You don't have to guess about it. You know exactly when it starts and exactly when it ends. So each week, you guys, I put in how many enrollments I have, if I've rank advanced, or how many 2 PETs I have. And that's if I enroll Trudy, I wish I did. If I enrolled Trudy and Trudy enrolls 4 people for the month, I'm going to get 8 points because Trudy enrolled 4 people because she's personally enrolled by me. So at the end of this week, I add a cross here. So I just got an enrollment this morning, so I haven't put that in there yet. I put that on the back of my tracking sheet. I put the name, and then I'll put how much BV he enrolled with, and then I give myself a point. And then at the end of the week, I fill that in. So hopefully I'll get 2 or 3 enrollments this week, and then I'll have Trudy, who's killing it. She enrolled 4 people. I'm going to get 8 points for Trudy. I'm going to rank advance somebody this week. That's my goal. And I always maintain my current rank, which is executive, because I want to get the executive lifestyle bonus of $750 the first 2 months and then $1,000 the third month. So my goal is to always maintain executive. So by the end, you add down and then you add across and you get your Leader in Action points for the month. Again, I've done so many tutorials. You could probably Google me and look at how to do Leader in Action. But this is the key. And I'm going to go through this fast because I know we're over our time. The key is having a game plan.
Don't feel that. I already told everyone in advance that we may, if it's good stuff, we're not going to squeeze. They're going to sit a little longer because it's so important.
And this is good stuff, Juli Urevick.
If we want freedom and we want choice and we want legacy, then spending another few minutes to understand this is not a crazy thing. But I'm going to ask you. You just mentioned a tutorial. If you could send your best one to me, I'm going to make sure that we send it out to everyone who's on here so they can get it. So we'll make sure they can have it so they can sit down and really, so even though they're hearing it right now, there'll be something coming as well that will give them that tutorial, because I think that's so important that they really can absorb exactly what you're saying. So don't rush this part, right, Trudy? No rushing.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
Okay,
So
carry on, Judy.
Okay. Okay. So when, I mentioned 3 or 4 days before the end of the month, I make sure I get points in every column, you guys. And the reason I'm able to get points in every column, I never zero out, is because I have a game plan, and it's the coach in me. And I'm just telling you, you don't see a professional baseball player, football player, soccer player, any of the sports, a musician. They know what they're going to go out on and perform on stage. Think about the concerts. They know the lineup of their songs. The band knows the lineup of the songs. Football players know the game plan. They've watched the film from the other team. They know what they have to do to execute and win the game. So this is the most crucial point or part of Leader in Action. You make a list, get a piece of paper. You put down who you're enrolling at the top of your list, which is always being added to, and who you're going to promote and what level they're going to be at. For example, I've got 12 names on this list. One of them is my son. I would love to get my son to manager. When I get my son to manager, I'm going to get 6 Leader in Action points because he's personally enrolled by me, and I want those points. I'm not going to get a bonus when my son gets to manager. And I let him know that. I'm not going to get a bonus, but this is your goal this month because it means this much to you. So it's not about me getting more Leader in Action points to them, because I stress that. They don't even know about Leader in Action points. I say, we're going to get you to manager because it's going to mean X amount of dollars to you. So you see, I'm focused on them and what it means to them and not me. And I let them know, whoever it is on here, that I don't get a bonus unless it's a consultant. But again, I've already, passed my 20 consultants. So for the new person starting, you have a chance to earn $100 for every person you promote to consultant, and you get 2 Leader in Action points for that. Right?
And Julie, you said something to me the other day when we were talking through this for this training for everyone that I thought was so brilliant. That list that you just showed everyone, if it doesn't happen in that 4-week period, you put them on the list for the next one. And I thought that was really, really awesome, because you're never giving up on those people, and you're always sharing what's possible, and you're always making it about them. And then the cool thing about Leader in Action is it is a blessing to you. And that's the coolest thing, because we're helping people get paid, and then it helps us get paid, but it's all about them. And that's what I love about this company. That's what I love about Leader in Action. You hear lots of stories of where people just come into this and they're like helping so many people, and then they get this ISO wallet in the mail, and they're like, okay, there's like lots of money on here. I don't really know how this got on here, but I'm having fun and sharing with people, and it's just so much fun. So that is key, what you said about that. You just move them to the next one. You don't be discouraged because they didn't hit it. You just move them to the next time.
To the next month. Absolutely. So I've had my friend Martha on here. I have 5-star written down. When Martha hits 5-star, I don't get a bonus. She gets a bonus or whatever, but I get 10 Leader in Action points for promoting Martha to 5-star. She's been on my list for 5-star for 5 straight months. She's on my list again this month. She will be on my list next month if she doesn't achieve it this month. I'm focused on Martha. I can sit down with her and say, how are we going to get you to 5-star? What do we need to do to get you to 5-star this month? It didn't happen last month. It's okay. We have a plan, and we're going to win, and you're going to get there, right? So the other thing is, when you enroll somebody, you guys, then you slide them down to the promotion list. So I've enrolled Trudy, and I know Trudy is going to kill this. So I get Trudy to consultant, and I get 2 points. And then I get Trudy to manager, and I get 6 more points. That's 8. I get Trudy to director. That's 8 points. So now I'm up to 16. And then Trudy goes all the way because she's a rock star, and she gets to executive in a month, which I think you did. And then I would get 10 more points for Trudy. So I think, I'm not good at math. I think that's 26.
26.
So
Good.
if I take somebody from point A to point B in that 4-week period, or maybe it's a 5-week period, then I get 26 Leader in Action points. Now, Here's the thing I want you to remember too. Besides, it's not about you, it's about them. You do get the points. Our contest right now to get to Fiji is all tied in with Leader in Action. Manager and director pools are all tied into Leader in Action. So we need to be teaching everybody at the consultant level what Leader in Action is. And the biggest thing I want you to take away from this right now is that if you focus on this behavior and you focus on not zeroing out, like you do whatever it takes to get points in every column because you're paying attention to it, right? But if you do that, you're going to build a solid organization. It's going to be solid. I am not interested in enrolling 20 people a month that I can't take time with and coach. I would get 20 Leader in Action points for that, but I'd rather take 5 people and get them to manager, because if I get 5 people to manager in a month, that's 30 points, right? I still want to enroll as many people as I can, but where the points are and where the big value is in this is getting people to the next level. All right. And even if you're having kind of a slower month, last month I only enrolled 3 people. I was like, Chuck, my husband looks at my paper and he's like, wow, I'm going to the spa too much, or what's going on? You've only enrolled 3 people.
I love Chuck.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah. Oh, he brings it
He's
up.
on it.
He's like, why don't you have a rank advancement point yet? I'm like, it's Wednesday. It's shake drop week. I got to focus on that. So do have an accountability partner. And then every Monday, you guys, I take a picture of my form and I text it to my team. So I am holding myself accountable. And it's not always pretty, you know. One week I didn't have any enrollments, which was unusual for me. And I'm like, ooh, gosh, I hate to even take a picture of this, but I'm going to do it. And I even said to my team in my joking way, well, this wasn't my best week, but here it is. And then they send a picture of theirs. So I think holding people accountable is key. But my interest is, you know, it's going to be great to earn a trip to Fiji if I earn it. Right now I'm number 146.
When you earn it,
when I earn it. But my whole thing is I make enough money with Isagenix to buy a trip to Fiji if I want to.
Amen.
But I want a long-term business and I want my team to win. I'm all about that.
Wow.
Julie, you've added so much value.
Yeah, you got to drop the mic. I got to tell you, I've listened to obviously lots and lots of trainings. The clarity of that piece, I mean, the whole piece, but that piece particularly, as far as a mindset of growing people, because I believe we're in the people growing business, having the Leader in Action formula and understanding it to the clarity you do. And even I love the idea as a great coach, hey, you sent it with a 0. And you know how hard that was, to be honest, but then you give the team you give them permission to be honest too. But I bet you money, if I was in your head or sitting next to your husband, when you sent that 0, you're saying that's the last freaking time I'm sending a 0. Right? Did that happen? Am I making this up? I mean, we didn't talk about this, but I bet you money there's not a chance you want to send another 0. That's not the culture you want on the team, right? The 0 team. Maybe that's the name. Yeah, we've got a team. We're called the Zeros, right? I mean, that's not it, right? But that being said,
we're called the non-zeros.
Yeah, we're in that sort of that wonderful hour, which is time to almost wrap up. Please don't leave yet, everyone. Just pay attention. I'm going to hand it back to you two. Last thoughts. I got that new person in mind every time I work. That person that is listening to all this. Some of it's googly goop. Some of it really landed. But I just want you to sort of, again, maybe have the last words to that new person who is just starting out, that's lacking the confidence, that person who's stepping in, who's just starting the journey, and the leader who's maybe, because we understand the natural peaks, valleys, and plateaus of this business. You've both gone through them. Where your business is flat, your best business goes down and goes up. That's just like the stock market. It's just like the real estate market. I'm an investor, so I understand these cycles. It's just like any business on the planet. They go like this. That's, they just up and down of success. So I want you to think about this sort of 3 conversations. Your last words to the brand new person, your words to the person just starting out as building, and they're really, really new, and that person who's been building and maybe they're stuck right now. Have a little chat to them, and whoever wants to go first, just go.
You want me to go first, Joel, since you just did your piece? You're probably
Sure.
like, I need a rest. Okay, for the brand new person, don't ever give up. The only way to quit in Isagenix, the only way to fail in Isagenix is to quit. So don't ever give up and don't ever quit. You're going to hear no, you're going to have hard times, and you're going to have really, really great times. And just like David said, it's the peaks and valleys. So don't ever quit. And to the person who's just getting started and you're getting into this and you're excited, you're going to have people return their box, and you're going to have people that don't have the mindset to grow and move forward. Don't drag people ever. Be there for them, coach them like Juli said, have that connection, but you can't, make them. You can lead them, but you can't make them. Kind of like that old wife thing of you can lead a horse to water, but you can't shove their head down and make them drink. Be okay with that. Be okay to release that and go forward and say, who can I serve next? Because you will find the diamonds in the rough as you continue to build your business. And for those of you who have been around for a while and you may be watching this training and you're stuck, I want you to get this out and I want you to start tracking it, because this will change the trajectory of your business like crazy town. I have been so inspired listening to my amazing friend Juli share this today. And I will be honest with you, I haven't tracked Leader in Action. I came into this business and I built it so fast, and we were Post-it notes everywhere and tons of people coming in. And this inspires me to track and to build like this, because I also hate math like Juli, but I can add. And this is a great accountability piece as we're driving the line with our new teams and helping people get where they're not. So that's what I would say. And my call to action as we close this up on my part is get yourself a whiteboard, a piece of paper, I don't care what it is, and find yourself drawing this out over and over again. Practice this like crazy, because you will get so good at it. And this will change the trajectory of your business because you know it so well and you have to practice it. Also, find a friend and practice presenting to them. Say, listen, will you please listen to me, help critique me? And you never know, they might be your next business builder because they took a moment to hear you learn how to present. So thank you, David, for having us today.
Love it. Well, there's one more. Don't go yet, people. And again, that's you can find that in the back office. You share, they share, repeat. There's a script as well that will give you the wording if you're like brand new. And that duplication factor is, how do you learn a song? I mean, if I start singing a song right now from the Beatles, you're going to sing along with me. How'd you learn it? It's by hearing it over and over and over and over again. So learning is about repetition. Repetition is the mother of skill, right? And remember, procrastination or perfection is another form of procrastination. So it doesn't have to be perfect. Juli, last words. Again, I saw you making some notes there, so you know the three. If you can sort of speak to those three for me, that'd be awesome.
Okay, so number one would be focus on the right behavior as a new person. Your job, your only job, is to help people get started on this incredible nutrition, help them have a great product experience, and then show them what's possible with, the compensation plan like Trudy so beautifully drew out for us. Get really good at that. So that's really important. But the right behavior is, once you do that, then help them help their people. Again, that's what Leader in Action does for me. I sit here and I look at this and I think, how can we help Martha get to 5-star? Like, who can she have in her organization who takes it to the next level? It's very strategic and important to do. I mentioned it earlier, manager disappointment. I tell people, you're going to have times where people return their products, or it's going to happen. Don't let that take you out of the game, right? And I did that as a coach as well. And I learned the hardest lesson as a player, because I didn't like to lose games and I didn't like to miss a goal. Like when I was trying to score a goal, because I played up in that position. And when I would miss a goal, I would beat myself up, and it took my head out of the game, right? I finally learned that I'm going to miss shots. I'm not going to score every time I take a shot. And so when you focus on that, again, having that mindset of an athlete, then when you score, it's even sweeter, right? But don't let missing that shot or missing that person or having somebody return it take you out of the game. Keep your head in the game. And then get better. Work on the skills that you need to get better every day. To the person who's in a slump, it happens. this happens. This is business. And I think my husband's in corporate America. I've watched it for years with him. His companies go up, they go down, they go up, they go down. That's part of business. Again, you need to, kind of keep your head in the game. And when you focus on the basics, the right behavior, then you're gonna win in the long run.
There's that great saying, Wayne Gretzky, you miss 100% of the shots you never take, right? So ladies, Thank you. I am going to come on after you two leave and just wrap this up in a little bow, but so much fun. I had such a great time. And I really, really, from the depth of my heart, appreciate the gems and the clarity and the call to action and the accountability that you both got. You both showed where you struggled in the past, and you both showed, and Trudy, just the fact you just said, hey, I just learned something from, and here you are. I didn't even talk about how much money you're making, but, as people in the highest income in the country, to be able to sit there and say, I just learned from Juli how I'm going to become better. That's what I love about this. It's like, if no one else is listening, think of how many lives are going to be blessed because of the conversation we've had, just the three of us. So all of you listening, just give a big wave like this to say thank you and to be a part of this. And ladies, have a beautiful, beautiful evening.
You too.
Thank
Bye,
you
David.
so
Bye,
much.
Juli.
Bye. Bye.
Yeah.
I decided to wait a little while before I sort of filmed this part, because it's so percolating on all the gold from Juli and Trudy. And I just love the idea of watching a leader, a multiple six-figure, almost seven-figure income earner a year, making notes from the other leader, and sort of really looking at that leaders in action forms and saying, hey, I'm bringing this to myself, not just to the team. That tells you the importance of everything you learn. But those print-offs are gold. And it's just important to be able to measure things and keep yourself on track. And so I urge you to do the homework. They're very simple things you were asked to do. So go ahead and make sure you get them done. And remember, next week, I can't tell you, we got Susan Sly, Abby O'Neill. I think that fundamentally, it's coming next week. Follow up, and the idea of handling objections and closing. It's just one of those areas that so many people get stuck in, and especially that follow-up piece. And two incredible leaders, and they're so complementary of each other. And hopefully that's what we're bringing you week after week, is this wonderful synergy of our culture. But again, I urge you to really, if you have to go back and listen to this again, listen to it again. If you truly want that freedom, if you want time freedom, if you want financial freedom, if you want to create legacy, if you want to be able to contribute at the highest levels, then, do the work. Do the work. It's network marketing, not net play marketing. And, remember, when I use that term financial freedom, I don't use that loosely. We understand that it's a lot of work, a lot of conversations. It's about mastering this skill set. It's about dealing with massive amounts of rejection and people saying no, but rejection isn't a terrible thing. It's just, people say no because they don't want to do something. And you want them to say no to you. So we're going to learn about that. But again, prepare yourself for next week, but do the homework this week. And I hope you enjoyed those two incredible ladies. And there's so much gold, so much wisdom, so complementary, so contrasting, which all of our leaders are. And get ready for next week with the incredible Susan Sly and Abby O'Neill.